exploring the issues that matter to you. This is Panhandle Politics.
Welcome to another edition of Panhandle Politics. I'm your host, Tom Lewis. And thanks for tuning in again. We got another great guest this week. In fact, a repeat guest. Griffitts is with us today. He joined us back about 3 months ago, just before the session started, or the first week of the session, I think. But things have changed a lot in 3 months, haven't they, my friend?
Yes, it's been a wild ride the last 3 months.
Thanks
for
for
sure.
being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
If you haven't picked up on the illusion there, Griff's got a new job. You're now the leader of the TDC and the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
That's right. Yeah, the board selected me after some interviews a couple of weeks back, and so went to work on the 16th, trying to promote our destination, our beautiful piece of paradise here we call home.
Couple of weeks in the job so far.
Yeah, a couple of really hard weeks trying to get my arms around a lot of moving parts. Yeah. Very great staff, very professional. It's great working group of people. They've been through a lot the last 3 months with the turnover, and so they have what I call a little bit of a trauma bond, and so they're a tight family out there, and we're doing great. They're good people. We've got a big event this weekend, Unwind, that's going on, and the air show the following week. So you can't stop and take a breath. You got to keep going until we get past these events, and then we'll sit down and start working on some reorganization stuff.
We'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. What I'd like to start with, though, is the state representative position that you've held for the last, 4 years now?
Almost 4 years, yeah.
And the fact that you guys are getting ready to go back to session in about 2 or 3 weeks to complete a job that didn't get done during the regular session, the budget.
Right.
What's going on in Tallahassee right now?
Yeah, it's a twofold conversation with, I think, our job up there. There's a sense of me that we have one job. Technically, our one job is to pass the budget. Mm-hmm. We have a Republican governor. We have a Republican supermajority in the House, a Republican supermajority in the Senate. And those three bodies cannot seem to figure out how to get a budget passed. We continue to fight over shrinking our budget, which I appreciate the conservative nature of that. However, we have one job, and we couldn't get it done last session or this session. We've had to extend it. So all policy dies at the end of that, and then we come back and vote on the session, on a special session for the budget. Usually it's a couple of 3 days. Right now I hope that the budget chairs and the president of the Senate and the Speaker of the House are sitting around with their appropriations chairs and negotiating, getting to a very good and balanced budget for the state. I expect it to be probably less than what it was last year. I think that's the goal on the House side. The budget projections show a little bit of a drop-off over the next few years, so I think our Speaker is trying to make sure that he doesn't dig a hole for the guy right behind him. Mm-hmm. And so we got a lot to do still, but yes, April 20th, we're supposed to go back for a special on redistricting. Word is that we might include the budget in that special session. They're usually 2 or 3 days for a special. So I'm hopeful that we'll get some news and some plans about what we're supposed to expect over the next couple of weeks here.
I don't think the general public, the voters, think of the budget situation as really controversial, but the redistricting thing might be a different matter. That's controversial. Do you think that's actually going to happen?
I don't know. It's a really good conversation. There's a lot of legal challenges going on right now, and I think that's why it's been pushed to the end of April to make sure some sort of court case drops. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen in time. The last time we did this 5 years ago, it took years of legal challenges before the final maps were even adopted. We know the state of Florida has grown a lot over the last 5 years. Maybe we are a little underrepresented in Congress. But the truth is I think anything we draw or the governor draws will be in legal challenges probably until the 2030 census. And at that time, we'll have to redraw them again anyhow. Mm-hmm. So this could be a very long and laborious and litigious type of legislation we get into. We'll see what happens. I haven't seen any maps. And so I don't believe it affects our part of the world near as much as what they want to do in southeast Florida.
Mm-hmm. Since the session ended, you've had a couple of special elections.
Yeah.
Republicans have lost two
seats.
Have,
yeah.
What's the mood like in Tallahassee?
I would tell you, the sky's not falling is what they tell us on our Republican side. The two that lost, Special elections are hard. Turnout's always very, very low. However, I will tell you, the money spent on the Republican side versus the Democratic side was, in some cases, tenfold, and they still lost. Both, I think, were less than 1,000 votes on each race. They were very slim margins of loss. This happened in an Orlando district a couple of years ago where Tom Keene beat Erica Booth, and then she came back and beat him in the general in November. Both the candidates that lost have signed up already, I believe, to requalify to run for the November general. There will be a ton of money spent on those two districts to try to make sure they stay Republican. The one in House District 87, which is President Trump's district, the gentleman who lost, John Maples, some people might find this interesting, grew up in Panama City, Florida.
Really?
Went to Panama Christian. His dad worked at the paper mill. Super nice guy. Very, very nice guy. Played basketball in college at a school down south and stayed and has a family and all. And when he and I connected over that, I was like, oh, you're a Bay County guy. I'm all in with you. So great guy. Wish him a lot of luck in November. But I will tell you they're telling us the sky's not falling, but there's obviously concerns. With the way the world is and gas prices and affordability, those are top of mind. And Republicans need to figure that out, or November it could hurt a little bit.
Big question for you is, are you done after this term?
It's a really good question. We're working through that with my board. I think there are certain members of my board who understand that the importance of my seat and what goes into it, and I think they appreciate what I've put in the last 4 years and think that maybe there's a chance I could do both. I don't know that that's possible. We're going to work through that over the next 30 days. Qualifying for my seat is in June. So whatever I decide in the next few weeks, we'll make sure everybody knows it. And if I do decide to not run again, we'll make sure the public knows and has ample opportunity for those people who want to take on this very difficult job, that they have an opportunity to go out there and do it.
I don't know how much you know about possible opponents, but I got contacted here a week or two ago by somebody who was running for the seat, wanted to be on this program. I said, when qualifying happens, then we'll get to that at that point.
I think I have a Democratic opponent that's already filed. I haven't had any other primary opponents that would file yet. I've only had actually a couple of people even reach out and ask if what my plans are. It's a very difficult seat. It's a part-time legislature. We get paid. Right. A lot of people don't know we get paid $29,700 a year to do this job. And while it's supposed to be part-time, it is very much a full-time job.
Yeah, sure.
It is a very hard job. Yeah. And so the sacrifices that we put in and the time that we put in to make efforts for our district are very, very difficult. And so if it's not me, I'll be the best mentor and helper I can. I'm not going away. My position as the new director out at the beach of TDC still has a role to play in local government and in state government. So I'm not going away, and if it's not me, I'm going to be the biggest helper and cheerleader I can, introduce them to all my friends, make sure that they know the right people to help District 6 in the state of Florida. But more importantly, District 6, that's the most important part.
Regardless of what you decide, how would you describe the 4 years you've been over there? Was it what you thought it was, or was it interesting to see how the sausage was made?
I would say it is very interesting. Yeah, it's all the cliches that we've heard. Politics make strange bedfellows and all these things. It's so very true. I used to not be a conspiracy theorist. I might be a little bit of one now because of it. The sausage is incredibly ugly. The money that is poured into it is obscene. It is obscene. But you can blame a lot of this. 2 decades ago there weren't gift laws, right? And so you have the people that were in office 2 decades ago that talked about, the lobbyist or the guy advocating for his company, we would go to dinner and we would discuss it, and he would buy my dinner, and that was it. Well, now that's against the law. Right. And so they have to do it a different way. And the only way they know to do it is to contribute through the campaign. And so, I don't know what the balance is or if there even is one. But I've always said going back to my commission days, that the dinner or the check, it doesn't buy your vote. It might buy you a meeting with me or the time at my desk, and I'll always give everybody that opportunity. But it doesn't secure anything, and if they think it does, I'll just give you your money back. It's not that important. But it's been very interesting, and speakers. I've had Speaker Renner and now Speaker Perez, so the cultures are different between the two. And next year is Speaker Garrison. It'll be a different culture with him. So every 2 years, things change a little bit. Chiefs of staff change. You have to learn to navigate all those different type of personalities. But I've had a lot of fun. I've met some amazing people, and maybe there's an opportunity I continue to do what I'll continue to do both projects. And I love my community. I love my county, my beaches. I'm going to serve at some capacity either way, and I'm not going away. I'll be around, be somewhere in the shadows lurking, trying to help my people out.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about what you're going to do here locally with the TDC. We'll be back with more on Panhandle Politics. Stay with us. Well, welcome back to Panhandle Politics. I'm your host, Tom Lewis. Our guest this week, Griff Griffitts. I would say that you're the state representative, which you are, but you're also now the new leader of the TDC and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the CVB. We've talked the first segment about state legislature. Let's put a different hat on.
Right.
Let's go to the TDC. To catch people up, the first of the year, we had an unfortunate situation happen at the TDC, allegedly happened at the TDC, that has started a legal process. A couple of people arrested. One of the top-ranking folks in the organization accused of taking money, as much as $1 million of TDC taxpayer money, and spending it on himself.
That's right.
Another gentleman, also a high-ranking person, also accused of the same thing. Not nearly the same amount of money, but I'll call it sad situations. The former director, longtime director, Dan Rowe, resigned, which opened the door for your position.
That's
You
right.
applied. You were selected successfully. County Commission signed off on it, and off you go.
Off I go.
You've hit the ground running. You don't really have much time to waste, because you mentioned earlier in the show you got a couple of big projects coming up in the next 2 weeks. But let's talk about overall.
Right.
You walk into a situation that's not good
Right.
on the surface, and you also probably got a staff that's really shell-shocked.
Yes.
How do you, first of all, handle that, coming in to be the leader now, and also how do you build people's trust back in that organization?
Yeah, a great question. You really do. The staff at first was very much, I think, scared. They didn't, know who was going to be taking over, bring somebody that outside in that just blows up the building or shakes it up entirely. So I think coming in, a handful of them knew me from my history on the beach, and so I think they might have told the other ones, like, hey, it's going to be okay. Griff's a great guy. He's not going to come in here and disrupt the apple cart too much. And so over the first couple of weeks, all we've done is just kind of I will give Chairman Claire Peace a lot of credit over the last 3 months. She's been interim director out there. She's done a lot of what I would call infrastructure work on job descriptions and things like that. So now we're really just building the team back, making sure they know they're valued, making sure they know that I always have an open door. I'm always there. I explain to them that we're a work family. I don't care if you got a problem at home or a question about your job or whatever. My door we'll try to figure out a solution for you. So it's been very good. They're very great people, dedicated to the events. The special events team with Unwind this weekend, they are wide open at Aaron Besson Park, getting ready for a big event Friday and Saturday night. Already talking next week for the air show, so talking with the Tyndall Brass, making sure everybody's got their credentials and ready to go for the Thunderbirds so we can watch those guys. Now we're just praying for some good weather. If you could talk to any of your guys here on that, we'd appreciate it. And but we got a lot of moving parts out there. That it's a monster beach renourishment project that never ends. It's been going on since the 90s. We have plans for expansion at our sports facility at Public Sports Park. We have a lot of things going on. And so getting our arms around that has been it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of reading. I'm on a shared drive a lot, looking through stuff, making sure I know what I'm talking about. I will say my history, though, has been really good. I think somebody else, had they been from outside the area and jumped into this, they probably would have it would probably take a lot longer of a learning curve to get their feet wet.
We'll talk about that a little bit. Your family's owned motels and hotels on the beach for decades. You grew up in the business.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so I think that a lot of people, when I got hired, there was some like, well, what experience does Griff even have in the tourism world? Well, my dad bought a 13-room hotel when I was 4 years old and moved his family into the back room. And so there's not a job on a hotel property I've never done. I mean, I've swept parking lots and cleaned swimming pool tiles and garbage cans, and I've fixed sinks. And I mean, I've done every job on a hotel property, also operating and then making payroll and those types of things. And so I understand the industry very, very well. And I worked with the TDC board as a collector for decades, sat on the board, was a chairman for 2 times. So I think that history lends a lot, and it really will help benefit the organization as we move forward.
And your father's mayor of a tourist town.
Yeah.
For a number of years.
18 years, my dad, God bless my dad. Yeah. And so, the tourism industry for me is incredibly important. And I think part of what we have a new campaign we're rolling out through the TDC is for the love of PCB, to explain to our community that tourism is not an imposition on the residents of Bay County, right? It is a rising tide floats all boats. The fact that we have a robust and successful tourism industry makes everything better for everybody in Bay County. The half-cent infrastructure tax, 70% of that money comes from tourism. So new roads, new sidewalks, stormwater, all those things, we're letting these visitors help shoulder those costs. Otherwise, we'd have to do it. We've got to embrace that. We've got to make sure that people know its importance. And we're going to continue to do that. We're going to make sure people know that we have a very, very good agency, and we're going to show that we have the credibility. We're going to build it back. And the public will soon, in short order, know that there's nothing to worry about out there.
When someone has been in charge of an organization for a long time, things just kind of become routine sometimes.
They do.
We've always given money to this event. We've done this. We've done that. Is there a possibility of changing the way business is sort of done out there?
Yeah, I would think.
Talk about that.
Yeah, every contract with every sponsor, every vendor, everything that we do business with will be looked at repeatedly. We will have a new culture out there for sure. The board members will understand. I'm used to working with when County Manager Bob Micah was there and I was on the county commission, I watched how he worked with his board members and how the communication level individually, nothing was ever brought out to the public in an agenda setting that hadn't been polished up, right? You don't want to bring something up and have it blow up in your face. And so I'm going to use a lot of the examples that I learned through my board as a commissioner and as a state member to make sure that the communication level is paramount, so that we have things brought to the table that are ready to go, and the board is fully vetted. Chairman Johns, Reggie Johns now is the chairman, and I told him the other day, I said, you're not going to walk out on that street and have a question that you don't know the answer to, because you're going to know everything that I know. Mm-hmm. And so he and I are going to set up a meeting protocol where we probably meet weekly to go over everything that I've been doing for the week, so that he has a full understanding. And we'll just continue that path with the vice chair all the way down the line, so all board members know. It's a very savvy board. You've got 3 elected officials and 6 businessmen or women that are in their industry. They know what they want. They're very savvy in their own right, and we're gonna use their talents. We're gonna push them to their limits. We're gonna make sure everything is looked at. We're not going to let any stone go unturned, I can tell you that.
As an outsider looking in at how that organization operated over the years, was there anything you saw that you went, yeah, I wouldn't do that? Yeah,
I think so. I think there's, and it's kind of, I'm having to adjust a little bit, because for almost 10 years, I've been living in the sunshine as an elected official. Everything was in the sunshine, where some of the stuff that we do at the TDC level is proprietary. There are some copyright laws and things. So we're having to be mindful that we don't expose ourselves to some sort of problems. So I'm having to be careful with that. But on the other token, we're going to make a lot of things so incredibly transparent that a lot of the questions people might have are going to go away. So we're going to make sure that the public knows what the tax is intended for, what it can be used for, what it can't be used for. And we're going to do a lot of education to make sure that people know what's going on out at that agency.
What I'm trying to pull from you is specific things that you think you want to change, but I don't think you're going to give it to me.
I tell you, Tom, we like specific things. Well, I mean, I can tell you I have 3 legal pads on my desk.
Yeah.
And I laugh. I say every day I take 10 off and I add 20 things to it. And so we're going down the list right now. We're kind of in the beginning stages of the budget. And so we're actually looking towards 27 and sitting with the department heads and trying to make sure that because I think part of my task is to kind of reduce a little bit. I want to rein back, but still deliver at a high level. So we're going to look at everything that's ever been touched out there, and there's no sacred cows. I would say that there's nothing sacred out there.
This time last year, we were talking to you about, as a state legislator, about the governor calling for taking TDC money and replacing property taxes with it. That give you pause when you thought about this job?
Oh, for sure. And I think it ebbs and flows a little bit, but the TDT, or the tourist development tax, has always kind of been under attack in Tallahassee. Yeah. And that's not going to go away. Last session, we were under attack. This one, it was quiet. I'm not sure what next year is going to bring. I did have a lot of people, as this was evolving in Tallahassee over the last few weeks of session, people were asking me, hey, I'm seeing this in the news about you. Are you going to do this and you can do that? And I did have, a handful of legislatures say, you might be the guy that saves the TDT in the state because of the position you're in. That would be a great thing. I think, that would build, working with Visit Florida, which is the state's marketing agency, working with them to make sure that we're all doing the right thing in the taxes, what it's intended for, to use it for its right purposes, to make sure the public has some trust in it. I know people would love for us to go build roads and bridges and all that, but that's just not the intended purpose of the tax. And so if we want those types of things, we need to talk about an infrastructure tax. But the TDT is designed for the promotion and advertising of the destination. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to work with stakeholders around the state and make sure it stays that way.
We got about a minute. What's the future of tourism look like here? Are you really excited about it?
Yeah, I mean, how could you not?
Yeah.
I mean, if I ride Front Beach Road every day, and it makes me so incredibly proud. I mean, I've been here 54 years, and like yourself, we've seen a lot of changes on that beach. But it is such an incredible place. I mean, we have the most beautiful beaches, the prettiest water, more opportunities for kids and families than you can shake a stick at. I mean, if you want to go play golf or fish or the Skywheel or Wonderworks or Top Golf, I mean, you name it, there is something for your kids to do. We're a family-friendly destination. We're the real fun beach. We're going to make it that way, and we're going to continue. We're going to make it even better than ever.
Yeah, after we lost the amusement parks and whatnot, a lot of people used to say, what is there for folks to do here besides go to the beach? We're starting to get those things.
We're starting to get those things. But hey, look, the primary reason people come to Panama City Beach is the beach.
The beach, yeah.
The beach. And you know what? We're going to make sure that beach stays at a high level as well. That beach will be cleaned, it will be groomed, and it will be renourished at a high level.
All right. We appreciate you spending time with us
Thank
today.
you. Always
Welcome
a pleasure.
Back anytime, you know that.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
We'll be back in just a minute with a closing thought. Well, thanks again for tuning in to this week's edition of Panhandle Politics. Our guest has been Griff Griffitts, the state legislator who may be and may not be, depending on how he decides to go. But now his new position, of course, is head of the TDC and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and we appreciate his insight into both of those topics. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Panhandle Politics.